Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Maddie and last year I graduated with a bachelor's degree in environmental science, and right now I'm a sustainability and energy consultant working at a firm near Washington, D.C. I'm also a part-time master's student studying sustainability at Arizona State University. When I was just starting out in college, I was a little lost on which direction I wanted to go in my career, and I wish I had had someone to help me along the way and give me career advice that was specific to the sustainability industry. So today that's what I want to give to you. I've seen a lot of career advice floating around that isn't relevant to the sustainability industry, or it was given by people who have been in the industry for decades. And let's be real, advice that was relevant 10 years ago in the sustainability industry might not apply today because the industry has changed so much in the past 10 years. One thing that hasn't changed, though, is the fact that college can come and go in the blink of an eye, and before you know it, you're crossing that stage at graduation. Today, I wanted to share a few ways that you can make those 4 years really count so that when you are crossing the stage at graduation, you're filled with happy memories and you're excited for what comes next. You know what comes next. Here are 5 tips to make the most out of your environmental science degree in 2023. I want to start out by saying that environmental science is a very large umbrella with many different topics underneath it. So college is the perfect time to explore those different topics and see which one fits best with you. You might find that while you thought you were going to go into renewable energy, you found a passion for sustainable agriculture through a club that you joined in college, and now that is the direction that your career is going to go in. But how do you find those different topics, and how do you explore them and know when it is your true calling? There's a few different strategies to do this, really depending on how you operate the best. So you can take different classes, you can join clubs with different focus areas. At least for my college, there was a club for activism, for policy, for conservation, engineering, agriculture, just to name a few. You have 4 full years on average to try out as much as you can under this sustainability umbrella and figure out 2 things. First, how your skills can best serve the environmentalism movement, and second, which aspects of the environmentalism movement can help fuel your passion. So the first 2 tips have to do with figuring out what your topic area is or figuring out your niche. So my first strategy is to try out a bunch of different internships and fellowships early on. Get those applications in within your first year of your undergraduate degree. By doing this early, you will figure out which areas or which niches aren't for you, and then you can go ahead and pursue those internships that are in the niche that you're interested in. Internships can be a great way to figure out what the professionals in that field are actually doing on a day-to-day basis. And it will help build your skills and your resume for when you apply to actual jobs later on. Bringing it back to the example I mentioned earlier of this person who thinks they're really into renewable energy. Let's say they apply for an internship freshman year with a renewable energy contractor and they help install residential solar panels in a city. They find out that their managers largely answer emails all day, and maybe this person isn't super into that. But they have really been liking their sustainable agriculture class and the fact that they get to go out into the field and get their hands dirty and analyze samples. So they go to the professor for that sustainable agriculture class and ask if there are any internship opportunities. Turns out there are. Now they get to apply to an internship that is different from what they originally intended to do, but something that they're actually really interested in. It's still under the umbrella of sustainability, but it's just a different niche, and maybe they can make a bigger impact in that specific niche because they have a bigger passion for it, and maybe their skills align with that more. So if you are interested in applying for internships, you could talk to a professor or go to a local organization and see if they're hiring college students for internships. The second thing that you can do to figure out your niche is to volunteer, and there are plenty of opportunities in sustainability for volunteering. I'm sure there are plenty of opportunities in your community or on campus, like stream cleanups, beach cleanups, really any kind of cleanup. I know at the University of Maryland we did post-tailgate cleanups, but there's also community gardens that you can work in, or maybe there's a project that is installing green infrastructure into your community. And if your school really has their stuff together, they will likely have some ongoing sustainability projects that you could get involved in. Maybe they're paid, maybe they're volunteer, but it's worth checking out. You might want to go to the sustainability department if your school has one, or reach out to your professors of your sustainability or biology classes to see if they know of any volunteer groups or opportunities. This kind of experience certainly will help boost your resume. It will help you network and connect with other like-minded people in your field, and it's overall really fun and you get some good memories out of it, so I would highly recommend checking out volunteer opportunities as well. After you figure out what your niche is, your next strategy will be to make your 5-year plan. If you want to build a successful career in sustainability, you'll want to know a rough outline of where you're going and what you need to plan for. And, like the internship strategy, you'll want to make this plan early so that if you do have any questions or uncertainties, you can get those answered when you have access to such a wide range of professors and mentors and other resources to help you with your career goals. You'll want to visualize what your ideal career would be in 5 years, and then work backwards, or backcast, which is another sustainability term, to see what actions you can take now to achieve those goals that you've set for 5 years. And 5-year plans should be dynamic. They should be changing as you make progress towards your goals and as you learn more about yourself and about the industry. I really think it's best to check back on your 5-year plan a few times a year just to make sure that you're making progress towards that year's goals, and so you still have an idea of that ideal career that you've set for yourself 5 years from now. If you are struggling to make a 5-year plan, because it is a very unique industry and other 5-year plans might not apply to a career in sustainability, I do have a template that I'll link below. It's completely free, so go check it out. It's one that I used when I was in college for myself, so yeah, go check it out. The fourth strategy is a bit more general, and it might be something that you are already doing in your daily life, but that is to keep up with the news, specifically environmental news. Sometimes big news stories in our industry do break out into mainstream media, but it is good to tap into some of the specific news sources to the environmental world. It's good to stay in touch with specifically environmental news because you might see things that will affect the environmental job market down the road, and you might be living through, this is cheesy, but you might be living through history right now in terms of environmental policy or environmental disasters, and you want to make sure that you are up to date with those. It'll come in handy once you get into the workforce, and so it's a good practice to get into right now. It also might help with your classes. I know a lot of my classes in college referred to specific news stories related to the environment and sustainability, so it's good to just keep an eye on what's going on there. Some specific news sources. There's Greenwire for policy and law news. There's the Environmental News Network for general current events. There's Business Screen for kind of corporate sustainability. And then there's Nature has some really good scientific journal articles, especially if you have a background in biology or environmental science. And if you prefer podcasts, I do have some recommendations as well. They are a great way to stay in touch and kind of branch out your network into the other sustainability professionals that are out there. How to Save a Planet is a classic. They do episodes on just about everything. So back to that kind of sustainability umbrella, it will help you kind of get a grasp on what those different topic areas are. So if you find an interest in an episode, you can go on and explore that. On a similar vein is TED Climate. They have, again, a large variety of topics, but it's kind of in the TED Talk style. So if you do prefer that style of podcast, there's TED Climate. And then my favorite is A Sustainable Mind, and they bring on guest speakers to go more in depth about current events in sustainability. So give these a listen, see if you like any of them, and get into a habit of keeping up with the news and with these podcasts, and it will help you out in the future, I promise. I couldn't put this video on the internet without saying that one of the biggest pieces of advice and one of the best ways to make the most out of your undergraduate experience is to network. You've heard it before, but I'll say it again. Having a good network and making sure that you're networking throughout your undergraduate degree can be the difference between spending hours and hours grueling over job applications and getting an offer on your first try. Some quick tips that can help you open up your sustainability network are to talk to your professors. In this field, everyone knows everyone. So if you tell your professor that you have a certain interest, they might be able to put you in touch with someone that they've worked on a research project with, and that could be your future mentor. Another way to network is to form study groups. The sustainability leaders of the future are sitting right next to you in class, so why not network now by helping each other get better grades? Study groups have also been shown to increase grades across the group, so why not improve your grades and network at the same time? And then the third strategy to network is to be curious and fully engaged in any of the activities that I mentioned in this video. College is one of the places where you will find one of the highest densities of people in the sustainability industry. They have similar passions, goals, and they're at the same point in their lives, likely, that you are. So make sure to have some meaningful conversations with your classmates and your professors, and you will be even more successful in the future. College really is the place where you get what you put into it, so hopefully you can implement these 5 strategies or so to really get the most out of your undergraduate degree in environmental science. If you found anything useful out of this video, please give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button below. It would mean all the world, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!